Alright everyone, we are back today and I am going to do the run of the Windy Pathways. I did check to see if I'd missed anything in Isle of Dawn and I did not. So it is a glitch currently, showing that you haven't collected all of the winged lights in Isle of Dawn. There are only 4, the 4 that I showed you yesterday. I'm sure it will be fixed at some point in time. If anyone wants to hop on the Discord and let the Sky server know, they will get it fixed as soon as they can. So, these days, we actually do not have to head into forest to get to the Windy Pathways, collecting the dailies just in case I happen to get at them. The new easy access entrance to Windy Pathways is right over here. Of course, Windy Pathways is only accessible if you've actually gone through that season and opened up all the pathways, but I would definitely suggest you do once you're able to because it makes travel much easier. So we're going to get out of the Windy Path because it is a little too strong, and we're going to head for the 1 star that is in here. The entrance is right to the left of that platform over there. To the right of this platform. So we want to aim for that entrance right there. And then we just ride it. And at the end, we'll go through the star and gather it. So that's the trick to getting that one. Aim for the pathway that is directly to the right of the little platform. So we will first head over to the forest, since we did not get into that one before. We are not going to go to Isle of Dawn's Windy Pathway because that is the trial chamber, and that is going to be an entire stream on its own because it will take a while. Specifically the fire trial. When doing it solo, it can easily end up being an hour long. And while I could show you what it's like when you have a partner with you, a lot of people do play solo. So I'm going to show you how to play that one solo probably tomorrow, but that might end up being a weekend thing. We'll see. Okay, so we have entered this pathway. We're in the underground caverns. It's nice that there are multiple ways to get into the underground caverns, just in case you're playing during a time period where there is no one else on the server you're on in the caverns, or trying to get into the caverns, so you can't open that door. I have not found a glitch yet to open that on your own, but you don't need it because we can go here. So this doorway used to only stay open as long as someone was holding it. I think they fixed it now. We still want to let it open a decent ways before we run in and grab our light. Okay, so it is still the same. It only stays open as long as someone's holding it. It holds for a little bit, just long enough for you to get in and out. So we want to set it off and go very quickly through. The next one we're going to head for is up at the top in that cavern you can see straight ahead of us. It's at the top of that. So I have enough wings to just fly over there, but if you don't, there are lots of places to charge. The clouds below will charge you. Every one of these jellyfish and light blooms will charge you, so if you need to, you can hop between jellyfish if you don't have very many. This area is completely doable if you have 6 wedges. The hardest piece you do need 6 to get up. And I'll show you how to do that with fewer wedges. You may be able to make it through with 4 here, especially if you have some regeneration potions. So in this area, if the light hadn't already been taken care of, we would need to take care of it because we do need the butterflies to get up. So what you want to do is you want to aim up as far as you can. Then you want to kind of spin around until you see the cavern opening, because if you miss it, you will just fall back down. It doesn't actually deposit you in it. So then we aim for the cavern and we can go get our light. Then the next one we're going for is the trickiest of the bunch to get. The trick to getting it without losing too many wedges and without needing too many wedges is to take off from here. We're going to aim directly right. And we are going to glide, and we are going to start aiming up as high as we can the second we get through here. So we're going to go up, up, go up, 4, 5. So I made it in with 5. The wind is constantly pushing down in this section, so this is definitely a section where you do need a fair chunk of wedges to actually get through, so make sure you're fully charged. And if you don't have 6 wedges to start with, you are going to want to bring some recharge potions with you. The birds will recharge you a little bit, so if you have enough, you can just fly straight over to the main area. But if you don't, you're going to want to charge on a jellyfish on the way there. If you have enough, you can fly straight up, but I'm going to show you how to get through if you don't have as many wedges. Come into this cavern, do a butterfly call, and again, you're going to want to aim for the shelf. They won't deposit you there, so twist around until you see it, and then aim for it. Then if you are low on wedges, again, you can crawl up these. You only need 1 wedge to get between each of them, like the light plume ladder up the trees in the main part of forest. And again, you only need 1 to get across this. 2 will be faster, but 1 is all you actually need. But there's plenty of stuff to keep charging you. Okay, so here's our 4th. Now, instead of going out the normal way, we are going to head back down because we want to get back to the windy pathways. Now, you could just go home and go back into the windy pathways, but if you're playing with other people, it's easier to stay with them if you maintain the windy pathways instead of continuously going home, because if you're carrying someone, if you're piggybacking, if you're holding hands, those connections do get lost when you port back home. So the windy pathways is a really great thing for people who are playing together because it means that you can keep hanging on to your friend and playing together and staying together through the entire game instead of having to reconnect. So we have exited the windy pathways. We are going to try not to get caught up in the really strong force. And we succeeded. So we are going to head over this way next. It helps to memorize where everything is, but you don't have to. So we are going to skip this because that is the entrance to Dawn. We'll do that one tomorrow. And we'll probably enter through here because it takes a lot less time than actually flying to the trials. So after Dawn in the pathways, you can ride that path and you do gather light. So if you need more light, I would suggest doing that and just hanging out in there for a while. But if you're actually trying to get into any of these passageways, it's much easier not to be in it. So next we have Sanctuary, which we don't need to do because we already gathered everything from there. And this is where we come across the secret little candle cake between Sanctuary and the Hermit's mountaintop. Don't remember what it's called. So now we are actually going to enter this 3rd one over on this side. Now this might be Little Prince actually. If it's purple. Yeah, okay. So this one's the entrance to the Little Prince's area. And we are going to head in here. Now, if we finish the windy pathways fast enough, then I will go into other side areas. Okay, so we come out up here. the fastest path, because we do have to go around the entire thing and we want to come back to the windy pathways, we're going to head for this jar over here first. The Little Princess area is definitely an area you want to do last, because if you have to walk it, it's going to take a lot of time. So you want to make sure you have enough wedges to be able to fly the whole thing. Even flying, it takes a while to get around. It's not one of my favorites because it does take so long to get through. So it's not great for runs, but it is an interesting place to explore. So we are just heading for that jug. You want to make sure you stay high enough. And we just aim for it. You can't, it's so far away you can't see it until you get about this close. And now you can just barely see the little light. And we are, of course, still flying. You can do all of this with fewer wedges. It just takes longer. There's more stopping, there's more recharging, and there's a lot more walking. And finally, here we are. So that's the first one. We do not need to get the next Little Prince section, the shiny one. I don't remember. Narcissistic something spirit? Can't remember. We don't need to head for that, but we can use those clouds to keep boosting us. Or if you have enough, you can fly straight over to the lighthouse. But going around the edge is safest because you cannot run out of wedges. They'll keep recharging. If you're doing a candle run at the same time as your wedge run, your wing run, then you can go over to that area because there are some lights there. But what we want to aim for is the top of that tower, and there is not an easy way up once you get to it. So I suggest using this cloud to boost you up to the top. Charge through it and boost up and maintain your height. Whether that involves doing some wing flaps, you can walk up this section, so as long as you land on it, not easily, you actually do have to boost. Then we've grabbed that. Now we are heading back the direction that we came from. So we make a full circle of this area when gathering the wings. I can see that I'm only a couple sections away from getting my last wedge. So I am just going to dip into the clouds so it continues to boost me. Diving in and out of clouds. If you don't know how to roll, you flick the left-hand controller whichever direction you want to roll. Boost and flick it. Here we're too caught in the clouds. Depending on how you're flying, you can either do a barrel roll or it just turns you. So here we're doing a little too much flying, but I can control my spins sometimes. So we are heading down inside this area. There are these little X's on the edges that you can start to see now, and we want to get inside of them. It doesn't matter which one you enter from because the whole thing leads to the same area. And that's where we grab our light. If I remember correctly, I think that's all. There might be one more in the book section. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure there's only 3 in this area though. So we are going to head back into the windy paths. This is also an area I have not been in a while. So we are headed through. You do want to keep flying the direction you want to go because sometimes it'll spit you out backwards. I think they've fixed that mostly. Okay, so again, we're going to try and not get caught in that stream and fly under it. And next, we are headed to Wasteland. This is definitely the easiest way to get to Ark, so you don't have to go all the way across, and we're caught. So just fight it as hard as you can and you will get out of it. But it does take quite a bit of fighting to get out of the windy path. So we are headed to the Forgotten Ark, where we have 3 lights to get. Okay, and the first one we can see, it's right up there. And these lights should be where they are regardless of how far you are into Forgotten Ark. So even if you haven't finished that storyline, you should still be able to get these. So we've got 1. Wait, there actually might be only 2 here. Oh no, there's 1 in here. No, there's not. There's just 2 in here. And once we grab the second one, we'll head back to the windy pathways, and we're also going to check on our map to make sure I have not missed any. Might as well dip and grab the lights while we can. And we are headed into this cavern. You can fly through it if you want to avoid crabs, but you are heading somewhere that the crabs can't get anyway, so you're fine. Hop in here and grab that light. Then we will head back out. We're going to head to the Ark, and we are going to go check on our light count at this point in time. Make sure we haven't missed anything. And then we'll head back into the windy pathways. I don't remember exactly where the map check is here, but it's gotta be somewhere in this general area. So we are gonna check. Look around. Not over there. It's been a while since I've used one in here. Let's see. I feel like it's over by the return shrine. And if it isn't, then we'll just head to the windy pathways, because I think I know where it is. Wait, where'd the return shrine go? Huh. There used to be a shrine right here that returned you home. And it is gone now. That's different. Okay. We will check a different map. Weird. Okay. I'm gonna head back into the windy pathways because I don't know where the return shrine got to, and I don't know where the map got to. Next area should be the Hermit's little mountain top. And I do know we have 2 in there, but we are also going to continue through. One of the reasons we did Forest first is because the Hermit area is the last one if we are not continuing on to Forest. So we can keep going through it and get our last wedge from the village. Okay. Staying out of the pathway and heading to the hermit's area. Now this one did used to be very difficult to get through going this direction. It would often spit you back up. Haven't tried it in a while, so we're gonna see. Okay, it is back and functioning. That's good. So we can see where our first one is. Very easy. And we can snack that. And I think, yeah, there's the map. So we're gonna check the map here. Just make sure I didn't miss any in the other two realms. Yeah, just the ones here. I got everything in forest. Still have to get the second area in Daylight Prairie. I don't know what that glitch is about. I double checked everything and I do have all of them. Hopefully that glitch will go away. We got everything in Arc. We do have more areas to do there. And we have the other area there as well as the side areas there. Okay. Nothing has been missed. So the next one here is not that way, it's this way, and it is a little tricky to get to if you don't know where it is. It's quite easy if you know where it is, but if you don't, it can be a little difficult. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go down to the landing pad where you come into the area from the normal way rather than windy pathways. And we are going to fly along the right side. And we are looking for a cave in the edge, and you can see it right there. It is easy to miss if you haven't done this before. You're aiming for the cave, and in we go. And there we have a light right in the center of this little lake. Grab it, and this time we are going to head down. And what we're going to do is we are going to aim high. When we get towards the bottom, we want to aim high. We don't want to be at the bottom of this, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to use this wind to boost us up to the light that is on the top of the tower. Because there are a few ways to do it. You can use the clouds and wind on either side of it to get you up there. You can fly up if you have enough wedges, but many people do not have enough wedges. So simply flying up isn't necessarily going to do it. If you have a friend to recharge you, that can help with that. Again, it's not necessarily the easiest method. So if you can land this particular one this way, that is the easiest method. It's not a guaranteed. I may miss this, but it is the easiest way to try. So as we come out, we're going to aim up and hope we can fight the wind hard enough to get high, except I hit a few things and I am now out of light, so I'm going to go use the side to boost me up, fly at it so that it boosts you and you get decently high, and then we're going to do the same thing, try and come at it from above, which was easier. So now we have gotten everything you can get to from the windy pathways. I have gotten my final wedge, so I can grab that. And we do have time, so I'm going to start going to the other side areas. We're going to go home, and then we'll start hitting side areas. So I'm going to head in here first, just because it's an easy access side area. And we're going to go to, I think it was called the Season of the Abyss. Oops. We're going to aim better. This is why we don't jump into boats. I have lost all my light before jumping into the other boat. The one that takes you to the Ark. This one at least has clouds, so if you miss, you're fine. So we're going to head to the Abyss. And we don't, the Treasure Reef. That's what we call it. Okay, so this time we do actually want to head under the water. I believe there are only two in here. So the first one is underwater and the second one is above water. With this area, you always want to keep an eye on your oxygen levels. You can grab some light while you're at it if you need to recharge, because you can actually swim faster by using your wings. You just don't want to completely use them up. So we are headed over into this building that has the little underwater creature swim through it. It's the only one with a rectangle entrance, so it is easier to find because of that. And we do want to pay attention to our oxygen, but once we get down, there are things to charge us. So we do want to go down. These bubbles should recharge our oxygen. So once we're on the floor, what we're looking for is this little doorway that someone else just went through. Gotta wait for that hand to show back up again. And we're gonna open it. Now, the trick to getting back out of this area is to maintain your level. So don't dive up or down. Stay generally where you are. Go get your light. And then turn back around. Because you do have to get back out the same area that you went in. You can grab these and get light if you want. We're aiming for that specific hole. And it will let us out this direction. And then we're gonna go up. So toggle your switch up. You don't wanna go completely up, just up enough, and then you can toggle back down to swimming and follow the fish out. Once we're out of the building, then we can toggle up and just head for the surface. But while we're still in the building, we don't want to do that because we will just hit our heads. And I don't think it hurts us, but it will slow us down. So now we can just toggle to floating up. And we are going to head for that building. Yeah. Now this one is not as bad as some others. It is meant to be climbed, so there are light blooms on the edges. But if you have a way to recharge, it's always worth recharging before you head up. And depending on how many wedges you have, it'll depend on how much you need to recharge. Okay. So light blooms are over on this side. I'm gonna head up. Flying against something does tend to boost you a little better, so you want to get to your first light bloom, or fly all the way to the top if you can make it. And we'll charge up. Then we can hit the second one if we need to, or we can head straight for the third light bloom. And to the top as soon as you have that charge. And we'll grab this one, and then since there is a map here, we'll go ahead and check it just to make sure nothing has been missed. Yep, and that's where we are, and nothing has been missed. I will need to go back through Wasteland to grab the one that I missed there, but I don't need to do that right now. Now, side areas. There aren't any other side areas in here. There are quite a few side areas in Vault of Knowledge. So I think we'll head over to Daylight Prairie next. So we're gonna head home, and then we'll go do Daylight Prairies, and then we'll head into Vault of Knowledge and see how far we can get in that. Okay. So since the season, actually, we're gonna head home. I think we can get to these using spirits in the main area. I think they updated that. So you don't have to do it only when something's going on in that season. I think some of these spirits, if you can find the right ones, will actually take you where you need to go. Let's see, she's not one of them. We need to find that season's spirit. Not one of those. There we go. Let's see if he'll take us. No, okay. So that got changed. They don't take us anymore. It's a little frustrating, but that's all right. So we do need to head in Daylight Prairie to head to the mountain area. Okay. And since I'm not on a light run, I'm on a wing run, we're just going to fly over this area and take it as fast as we can. Whee. Okay, so we're headed over to this side. The dreaded lost signal. If you're playing with friends, it's when the signal drops. It doesn't have anything to do with your Wi-Fi. It's the server. So this is when, even if you're piggybacking or holding hands, usually you lose your friend at that point in time and you have to wait for that to come back. I believe it comes from the fact that everyone plays on a single server, so it can overload. And there'll be times and places. Usually it happens a lot more in whatever realm has the day's quests, because that's where most people are. So today, not sure, the quests are in Village of Dreams, so it shouldn't be happening here, but sometimes it happens anyway. There isn't really any good way to predict, so that's why if someone is leading you and you're somewhere like Forest or Wasteland, you do not want to walk away from your device, because if that happens, they'll drop you, not intentionally, but they'll be forced to drop you and they can't help you. So if you're in either of those areas, Prairie Peaks, that's what we're aiming for. So if you're in either of those more dangerous areas and you are playing with somebody else, do not walk away from your device unless you're okay losing some of your lights. Okay, there are 3 or 4 here. And there is not really a convenient way to go about getting these. Kind of like the Season of the Little Prince, it is a bit of a trek to get to all of them, but it is worth it. So the first and easiest to get is in this cave. One thing that does make this area a little bit more difficult is there are a lot fewer places to charge. These do charge you. They charge... Oh no, those don't charge you. Just the light blooms do. Yeah, there are very few places to charge in here. So bringing your own source of light is good, or bringing a friend. So we're diving into here. Or bringing recharge potions. Those are all good options because you don't have infinite light sources here. So like the Little Prince area, it is a distance between places that you need to get to, but unlike it, we don't have that infinite cloud source. So then we are just going to head out. There we go. Head out this way. We'll exit in a different location. It doesn't really matter. You can take the same way you went in, out, or you can take this way out. I think there's a third way out as well. And we are going to head now. We're not going to aim for the mountaintop yet because we can boost up to it. We are going to head to the bird caves. And we want to glide as much as we can because, again, there's not that much to charge us. There is some stuff underwater, so that's helpful. And if you get to one of the bird clouds or some of the seal creatures, then you're good, but there just isn't that much. So we're headed way over here to the caves. Very, very slowly. And we're just gonna hop along so that I don't lose more of my wedges, because I am gonna need them to get to the next one. I think the birds in here will charge us. But again, I have not done this section that many times. Okay. So we are headed... Yeah, we have things to charge us. We're headed up. So luckily we do have things to pull us up. We can do a call and we'll get lifted up as a start to the boost, and then we are gonna fly up because one of these ledges has the light on it. And if we fly up to here, we have a nice place to sit and charge while we figure out which ledge we're aiming for. I think it's that one because that's where everyone else is at. So I'm going to pull out my charging stick, figure out where they placed it. Oh, there we go. Set it, light it, and we'll aim over. Yeah. I don't see it, but that is where everyone else aimed. I'm gonna go with flying up in order to find it. It's kind of one of those where you kind of need to know what's there in order to find it. There we go. And these are areas where you do need a significant number of wings, or be very good at grabbing a recharge potion while you're in the air. Now here is where I'm going to boost up to the mountaintop. You can fly up to it, but if you can break through these by flying straight up and through these clouds, then you get an extreme boost for the mountaintop. Now, it is not technically supposed to let you do this, so it can take a second. You're technically out of bounds, but when you do get up them, because you're in the clouds, it doesn't matter how many wedges you have or how many wedges you use, so you pretty much want to keep flapping until you get shot up. And then you can see how high we are, and it won't take anywhere near as much to get to that mountain. And we're going to do a lot of gliding because we don't want to have to recharge if we can help it. But also you want to make sure to maintain your height. So if you start to drift down, do a flap. Luckily in this game you can look down without losing too much height. So I've lost a bit of height. I used 2. Now, with this mountain, there are a decent number of places to land if you need to. So while even with that boost, I have used most of my wedges up. I can't even really climb most of it. Some of it you can get up, but I am likely going to need to recharge here. So you want to find a place where you can stick, and then you're going to bring yourself a light source. And recharge. You can boost through the clouds at different angles so that you recharge yourself faster when aiming for this. I'm so close. There we go. And then we grab it. I'm going to leave my light source there. It'll stay there until I leave the area. There's somebody stuck, so we're gonna go and help them. We've gotten this high, but they're out of light and they don't have a source, so they need some help. Which is part of the fun of this game. And if you do a deep call, it charges them the quickest. So they should be pretty well charged now. Excellent. And I'm gonna head out. And I believe that is all that are in this area. I don't think there's another one over here. No, there are 4 spirits. I think there's only 3 lights. Head home, which you can do while you're in the middle of flying. It doesn't have a huge problem with that, which is nice. Okay. Now, just to be sure, I'm going to go check the map. Make sure I didn't miss one there. Everything from there, everything from forest, everything from valley, just the one in wasteland, the glitch in dawn, the trials, and 3 different side areas in vault. So we're gonna go ahead for the 3 side areas in vault now. We'll see if there's anybody there to open the 2-person door for us first. Gonna give it a shot opening them ourselves. There's a trick to it. waiting the right amount of time before going over the next one. If nobody shows up to help, and if I can't get them open myself soon, there we go. Jump back and forth, and you will eventually open it yourself. It's not technically how the game is supposed to work, but it does. So there are 2 in this area, and we do unfortunately have to go through the entire maze to get to them, because it doesn't let us go backwards. It would be really nice if it did, but unfortunately it does not. I'm not actually sure why it doesn't. I haven't checked about going backwards recently. No, it just pops us back through. So we do actually have to go the correct direction, the way that it is intended. Hadn't checked, so I figured it was worth a shot. Yeah, because that's where you come out when you're done with this. We don't need the purple light, we just have to wait for the cutscene to let us through. Okay. And again, if you don't have enough wedges, there are lots of platforms to charge on. So you can easily make it through this with probably even 2. It's not that complicated of an area. It's not that much flying involved. You can fly through this entire thing, especially if you're worried about crabs, because they do show up. And there's always a little bit trickiness of getting through those, because sometimes you get stuck on the edge. This floor does have crabs on it, so if you're gonna stop, just be aware of that. But as long as you keep moving, it's not a big deal. And we want to get in. This is where getting stuck on the edge happens. But we got through, so we are good. Now here is where we have 2 directions we can go. The first wedge that we're looking for is over here, and there is a crab guarding it, 2 crabs guarding it. But once you've grabbed it, you can fly. And here you can climb up the ladder if you need to, or you can fly up it. And again, we grab the light, and then we can head back down. This is one of the more annoying things to get down, because there are lots of things to get stuck on, including the ladder. So sometimes you have to hop down every single rung of the ladder until you can fly out of there. You want to remember which direction you were going in, because this is where we get the exit. Okay. And see how you can't actually go the opposite direction because it just lets you out right here too. It'd be nice if they put in a back door like they do with some of the other mazes. Okay. So that one leads, I think this one just leads to the archive. We do need to go in here. Doesn't have a name to its area anymore. Oh, right. Because we have a bunch of different areas we can go to from here. So we did Little Prince. That one's Aurora, which you can access just by going through... Wait. I'm pretty sure that's the one that you can access just by going through the main area in Valley of Triumph. Where we do need to go is to the deer, and I actually have only gathered these wings once. Oh, really? Well, this is different. Maybe we can get through it without getting caught. doesn't look like it's setting off the events. I haven't been back into this area since the season ended. So it's nice we're not getting hit by the dragon here. It is a ways in, though. I don't remember how many are in this area, so I am going to try to find them. I know there was one. Oh, there might... No, there are definitely some in here. I vaguely remember where the spirits are. I think the lights were easy enough to find, but I don't remember. I think there's one in the top of that tower. I'm gonna charge. There's a hole. Holes usually lead places. I don't know where this hole leads, though. I've not been in it. I wonder if they added this to Windy Pathways. Kinda seems like that's what's going on. Or they're going to. Half the time when you see one of these, it ends up leading to Windy Pathways. Either that, or this is their way to quickly get from the top section to the bottom section. Yeah, okay. I never found that pathway. I don't think I've been here. There's a tree. Oh, right. This is where one of the lights is. I have been here, just not recently. Pretty tree with shiny light. It is possible that's the only one. I don't remember if there are others. There might be one more in the tower. I think we're gonna head home and we're gonna check. We'll go check the map and see if there are any others because I don't remember that area very well. Okay, let's see. We're gonna go over and look at... Oh, yep, there's at least one more. So we'll go back to where I was. Use a return shrine. And we're gonna go see... Hopefully it'll drop us... Yeah, okay. Excellent. It dropped us in a better area. We're continuing on to the other light. It should be over in that tower, I think. I remember going into the tower before playing the game. There might be two more here. I think the top of that tower, and I think in the dungeon. I did explore the area to find things when the season came out. I found all of them. I just don't... There's an entrance to the dungeon. So we're gonna check in here. It's not an entrance. A lot of these side holes are not actually entrances. I think there is one down here, though. Maybe not. Okay, we're just gonna head to the palace. I feel like there's one over inside of one of these caves. I've gathered them maybe twice. I don't remember what is a spirit and what is a light. I can use this to go up, I think. You can see which seasons I have not done much with. Okay, that is not lighting. Go over into the other area. Isn't that the main entrance though? Yeah, that should light. I don't know why it's not. Oh, there are two. It did light. It brought it down, and then we light this one. And it should bring us up. Realistically, we can probably see where other people are to see where the lights are. I know there's one in here somewhere. I just don't entirely remember where. I'm gonna go grab some lights. Should be back in the dungeon, I think. This is where doing them over and over again does help. And when you've only done the light run of a section once, sometimes a map is good. And you can go find those on the wiki. I swear there's another one here somewhere. I'll borrow this person's light really quickly and charge them in thanks. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a light here somewhere. And if I can't find it fairly quickly, then I will look up where it is and we'll finish this tomorrow. Nothing in those areas. I don't think it's back here. Yeah, it won't let us go back there. Must not be one in the dungeon then. I thought there was, but I don't see one anywhere. So in that case, it has to be somewhere in the little village outside of the palace. I think I remember where it is. We're gonna go check. Can't remember if we can get out these windows, but if we can, yeah, we can. Much easier. Okay, so I think it is either in that cave, one of these caves. I don't remember which one. Or over to the side and in that cave. I'm not seeing a glow in here, so I'm going to say it's not this one. It might be behind here. Or it's over on those side caves. Nope, not this one either. And if it is not in one of these, which it doesn't look like it is, then that is going to be something I'm going to need to look up to remember where it is. Yeah, not in here. Okay, in that case we are going to head home and we are going to go to the next side area. It's not worth getting back out this area, so you might as well just head home and then go back in to Vault. Okay. So we are going to head back into Vault, and we are going to go to the archive area, which is further in. It is not accessible from the little area we were just in. It is accessible over here. Okay. This area only has one repository. That's it. Not an archive, a repository. And this one is out behind some bars. You gotta go to the outside in order to get to it. This area is not bad flight-wise because you do have a lot of things to charge on and a lot of places to rest. What we want to do is we want to fly around the outside until we see the little bar set. And then we are going to snag it from the outside because there isn't a way to get to it from the inside. There we go. I'm going to recharge. Now that I've found it, I'll fly back up to it. That should be enough for me to get up. Here we go. And we've got it. And that's the only one in this area, so we can head right back out. And again, we go and check the map just to make sure, because these are all sections that I have not played that much. So there might be another one. Pretty sure there's only one in that area, though. Okay. Yeah, so we got everything from there. We are missing the one from the Season of the Deer, which I will figure out, and we'll start with that tomorrow. And we're still glitched out in Isle of Dawn. And I'm missing the one from Wasteland, which I think I will go get now. And we will wait on doing the trials tomorrow. Now you can also see that there are the two areas of wedges that I have not gone through Eden again to get. If you need the extra 9 that you get from there to get to your next wedge, then you go through that and you go through it first. Well, not first. You get a buffer of about 4 to 6 wings from easy areas, and then you go through that. Because you don't want to lose the wing buffs. So it is nice to see a map that is mostly cleared. I'm going to check into why Dawn is so glitched out right now, but for now we are going to head in to Wasteland to get that last one. Oh, let me go. So I can show you how to get to it. That's one that I know I just completely spaced on. And if all you need is one more to get your next wedge, then you can go in and grab the first light in Eden, because that one is pretty easy not to lose anything getting, and you can grab that at any point in time. It's only if you need all of the extras, and it's really only worth doing if you really want that next wedge. So if you just have enough to get yourself to the next wedge and you really like having that wedge, then it's worth going through. But if they're going to be somewhere in the middle for between this and your next wedge, there's no reason to do it because it's just time and risk and there's no reward for it. Because you're not finishing off Eden, so you're not getting all of the Ascended Candles, which is what the reward for Eden is the Ascended Candles. So if you're going through and almost finishing, but not quite finishing it, then you really need the next wedge. Now I am gonna snag the candle cakes and all this light because it's been set off. So it's worth it. And then I'm gonna head over and we're just gonna get through this area as quickly as possible. It shouldn't take too long. Like usual, we're gonna head over to the right side, wait for the dragon to get set off, and we can fly to the side and we're perfectly safe. If you have fewer wedges, you'll want to charge before heading this direction. Remember, you don't have to maintain too much of a charge as long as you can get where you're going, because there's so many things to charge off of. So if you're as low as I am with just one wedge, then we can charge off of this leftover shine. And that is plenty for me to get up into the tube that I need to get into. So that's where I like to take off about here and glide. And a couple of flaps will get me right into the pipe that I need. And remember, the pipe recharges you, so it doesn't matter how much you use to get into here. When you come out of it, you'll be fully charged. So this time, we are going to just head straight at the boat. Of course, we're going to pay attention to where the dragon is, because we don't want to get caught by it. There are people down there we could go help, but there are also other people helping them, so we're okay. It is, however, headed straight for us, so we're going to hang out here until it goes by. Now we are fine to continue on, and where we're aiming for is right in here. That's where our last little light in this area is. So ordinarily you'd grab the one up on the cliff, then you'd come grab this one, then you would fly out of the boat and across to go grab the third one. I am going to grab this candle cake because it is right here, and then I will head home. And while I'm heading home, I am going to check and see if I can find where that last wedge is, because I want to know. There's a really good wiki, Sky Wiki, for if you're new, you want to find stuff. We've got really good maps, so I am going to go check Vault of Knowledge, Crescent, Oasis. There are 3, so there are 2 that I'm missing. Okay, there's one behind the rock shelf. I remember that. Ah, there's one on the top of the Lord's building. Okay, we're gonna go get those because we can, and we still have some time. I'm gonna head back in, and we're gonna go get those last 2. Quickly heading over here. And then before these maps, the best way to figure out if you had all of them was to just check how many you had against how many there are total. So at this point, I'm at 210. And I would have to check with the wiki for how many the total are. There are 119 to find. And there are 232 total. So we're going to subtract the number in Eden, which should be 9. So I still have a few to find. So I should be aiming for 121. Have to see where all the ones that I'm missing are. Got 2 more in here. Then we have all the trials, which is 4 more. Just a total of 6. I think I might be missing 1 buff, which would be the 7th. Which means there's still 3 that I don't know which I've missed, and I'll have to check. Okay. So the first one is behind the mural. I remember this. It's up behind that little cave. That was a really easy one to find first time round. I just forgot where it was. Also because I'm not exploring currently. Should be one up. Or is it down here? It might be down here. Oh, there we go. So that's an easy one to find. And then we are headed to the top of the palace. Okay. So this is one of those times where if you don't have a way to recharge, or if you don't have very many wings, you are going to want to stick around the top edge of this. Because it's going to be very, very hard to get to the top, to fly up to the top of this building if you don't have enough light. So we are going to go back. And make sure that we're going to the right place, which we are. And there I can see the shine. Can't quite, there we go, there's the kid. So here we go, and we have grabbed it. Oh, the shards, that's what I'm missing. That's where the extras are. So the shards are less easy to get because even if you're getting them every single day, it's not always the right rotation. Okay, so we are gonna head home because that is all the side areas. We're gonna go double check our map just to make sure that the only things we see on this map are that glitch in Dawn, the trials in Dawn, and the lights in the end in Eden. So here we can check. We have the glitch in Dawn, we have all 4 trials, windy pathways are clear, we have all of Daylight Prairie clear, we have all of Forest clear, we have all of Valley clear, we have all of Wasteland clear, we have all of Vault clear. We do have the 2 sections in Eden to still do, but I may do it with you at some point, but it's the same as just a general Eden run, except stopping early. So next time I may go through that just to show the path you would go on if you were going to snag everything. But for today, we are going to be done, and we'll prep for doing the trials tomorrow. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you tomorrow.